What's going on, guys? Where you at? How you doing? Ed here, back with some more loaded content. Let's get into it. We're talking Test and Primo. More gear, of course. You know we're keeping it coming. Before we get started, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, drop something down below, share this with your friends. The world's got to see this. This is important information, all right? Don't just keep it to yourselves. So I would appreciate if you guys did that. Awesome. Well, let's just jump into it, all right? Test and Primo. Killer duo. Killer meaning good, not killer bad. It's not going to kill you. But yeah, the gruesome twosome. Test and Primobolin. So the more research I do, guys, I tell you, I always come back to the big three. Test, Primo, and Anavar. It seems that these three are the safest, healthiest, most effective steroids where you get the best bang for your buck, but you're still staying healthy. They have the most favorsome of the side effect profiles out of all the steroids. It's not going to be like a Tren or a Deca or an Anadrol that's really going to fuck you up. These three are pretty safe given that you do them the right way. So, today we're talking about the Test and Primo combo. Testosterone is the king of all steroids. That's what they kind of compare every other steroid to. So we're going to start off with testosterone. It has an anabolic androgenic rating of 100 to 100. That means as far as anabolic effects, testosterone starts off even ground at 100. Steroids with a higher anabolic effect will be above that. Steroids with less anabolic effect, less muscle building capabilities will be below that. Same with the androgenic side. Testosterone is the nice level 100. Anything that comes with more androgenic side effects will be higher, above 100, or if they're less androgenic, they're going to be below 100. So the anabolic is the muscle building. The androgenic is kind of the androgenic side effects, the hair growth, the hair balding, acne, all the stuff that you're going to get, the bad steroid side effects. So how does Primobolin stack up to testosterone? Well, testosterone's 100-100. Primobolin has an anabolic androgenic ratio of 88 to 44. So less anabolic, also less androgenic. Now the scale's not ideal. It's not safe to say that Primobolin is twice as safe androgen-wise as testosterone. A lot of these numbers, I kind of don't know where they come from, but I do agree in the fact that testosterone will be slightly more anabolic than Primobolin, but Primobolin will complement testosterone very nicely, and we'll get into how it does that. But first, let's talk about Primo a little bit. So Primobolin and enanthate, we're talking about the injectable form today, not the oral version of Primo. There is an oral version, but we're not dealing with that. So injectable Primo has a half-life about 7 to 10 days, very similar to testosterone, enanthate, or cypionate, so it's going to match well with those compounds. Keep in mind that a longer half-life is going to mean it takes longer to build up in your system and longer to clear out of your system. So if you're running a Primobolin enanthate and test either enanthate or cypionate cycle, you're going to want to run it a little bit longer just because those longer esters, typically, they say it takes about 5 half-lives until it's built up in your system. So if the half-life is 7 to 10 days, you're going to wait about 5 or 6 weeks before that is fully kind of saturated in your system. So for those first 5-6 weeks there, you're still building up the compound in your system to reach those full effects. So guys will typically run a Primo and test cycle a little bit longer. Some guys will run short test cycles, 10, 12 weeks, but you throw Primo in the mix. You want to really get the most out of this. 14 to 16 weeks is kind of about where you see it. Some guys will go longer, some guys will go shorter, but 14 to 16 weeks is a pretty safe bet there. So Primobolin, it is a DHT derivative. In the categories of steroids, you have your testosterone derivatives, you have your DHT derivatives, and you have your nandrolones. The nandrolones I stay away from for now, just because they come with a whole host of side effects that you really got to be smart to combat, and the fertility issues, the shutdown from nandrolone is way more prolonged than it is with testosterone and its derivatives or DHT derivatives. So that's why I like to stay away from the nandrolones. I like to stay with testosterone, Primo, and Anavar. Maybe I'll start venturing off into some other DHT derivatives, but for now, those are my big three. The DHT derivatives, you probably heard of a lot of them. Primobolin, Masteron, Anavar, Winstrol, even Anadrol is a DHT derivative. Typically with a DHT derivative, you're going to get a little bit less water retention, less estrogenic side effects because DHT does not convert into estrogen. You're going to get good strength gains, more of like a dry, kind of hard look from the DHT derivatives. As opposed to like testosterone. The DHT derivatives are going to be a little bit more, I guess, cosmetically appealing, just a drier, harder look, great for building good contractile tissue. You won't get a lot of bloated water retention, puffy weight like that you'll get with like D-ball or Deca and those kind of things. But it being a DHT derivative, if you're prone to balding, you're going to have to watch out for that because the DHT derivatives are known to be a little bit harder on your hairline. Masteron specifically. Primobolin can still take a toll on your hairline. Watch your prostate, your cholesterol, your lipids, because again, it is a DHT derivative. Even though Primobolin, it's pretty damn safe as far as the side effects go. You can take this stuff and not worry as much, but still be smart about it. Side note too, if you're thinking about taking Primobolin, just know that typically it'll come with a pretty bad post-injection pain, where your muscle's going to be sore for the next day or two after you do it. That's just the way it is. Now, some guys will swear up and down, no, I don't get sore from Primobolin. You're getting fake shit and your shit's no good. But it seems like the more kind of people I talk to about this, the general consensus is like if you're getting real Primobolin, you're going to be a little bit more sore. I think it's just because of the size of the molecule. It's tough for the body to kind of break down and metabolize, so it makes you sore. It is what it is. So just be ready for that if you're thinking about doing a Primo cycle. But like I said earlier, Primo is going to complement the test very, very well. It's going to help you to gain more quality muscle, more kind of rounded muscle bellies, a nice dry, hard, muscular look. A lot of people say Primo is almost like a baby trend, where you get that nice, round, hard, like just look like you're going to step on stage. But it's not quite as intense as Tren. Everybody just seems to think Tren's working great because I'm getting all these gains, but I can tell it's working because I'm also getting real sweaty at night and I'm getting aggressive and I'm getting all sorts of progestogenic prolactin issues and this and that. Like, just because that shit has a bunch of side effects doesn't mean it's like working as it should, So I think Primobolin, you're gonna get all of the good with not all of the bad. So, yeah, I like Primo. If you're going to take it with test, typically you would want to take it where your test to Primo ratio is about 1-to-1 or even a little bit higher, 1.5-to-1. That meaning 1.5 testosterone for 1 part Primo. So, for example, if you're going to be taking testosterone at 300 milligrams a week, if you're going with a 1.5-to-1 ratio, you would take your Primobolin at 200 milligrams per week. Because 200 times 1.5 gets you 300. So you see where the math is there. If I take 150 test, 100 Primo. So how does Primo kind of work with test here? Why is it such a favorable combination among bodybuilders, not even bodybuilders, just gym enthusiasts, people on TRT? They like to throw in Primo as a little bonus. Why is it so favorable? Why does it work so well? Well, one reason is because Primobolin readily binds to SHBG, your sexual hormone binding globulin, and we all know that the SHBG is what kind of binds to testosterone molecules that are floating around. So you have your total test and your free test. If you have a lot of testosterone bound to SHBG, it can't be used in the body for other things, so your free test is going to be a little bit lower if it's all bound up. So Primobolin will help to lower your SHBG, thus allowing a higher free testosterone content, so you get more bang for your buck. When you take Primo with test, your test kind of works harder than it would. So if you take 400 tests a week, but you throw a little bit of Primo on top, your test is actually going to work better with the Primo because of that freed up testosterone. So there's that. That's a good bonus. Another plus side of Primo is that it acts very similar to an AI to reduce your estrogen conversion in your body. So typically when you add Primo in the mix, you're going to reduce estrogen levels in the blood there. That can almost completely eliminate the need for an AI at all while you're on your cycle. But you don't want to run the Primo so high where you end up crushing your estrogen to nothing and it's non-existent, because your body still needs estrogen to function. Without estrogen, your libido is going to suffer. You're going to have no energy. You're going to have a whole host of side effects. So you don't want to crush your estrogen, which is why you want to run it typically in that 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1 ratio that I explained earlier. Your test may be a little bit higher than your Primo. It'll work synergistically so that Primo will reduce the estrogen conversion and you pretty much won't even need an AI. I haven't personally gotten blood work done while on Primo and test, so I can't speak to my body how effective Primo is at reducing estrogen, but I did watch a video from Vigorous Steve. I don't know if you guys seen his channel. He posts a lot of good content. He's a very educated guy. He knows his shit. But he was taking 250 milligrams of test as kind of his TRT plus dose, and he threw Primo in the mix at 200 milligrams. So he's right in that range of 1-to-1, 1.5-to-1 test to Primo ratio. He threw in 200 milligrams of Primo, and before he threw in the Primo, his estradiol levels were about 80 picograms per milliliter. 2 months later, after adding 200 milligrams of Primo, he was down to 40 picograms per milliliter. And just for reference, they say your normal estradiol range should be somewhere between 7 and 45 picograms per milliliter. So him at 40, he's at the top of that range, but still within the range. When you take gear, your testosterone's going to go up and your estrogen's going to go up. So you do still need estrogen. You know, you might even feel better if your estradiol levels are a little bit higher than that 45, like top of the reference range. Because like I said, test and estrogen, they're going to work together. One goes up, the other goes up. The Primobolin is just going to help it not go up as much. So you're not going to get, you know, the whole gyno water retention, all those estrogenic side effects that you might get from a high dose of testosterone. So that's pretty good. I mean, we love to see that. It works very synergistically in the fact that it makes your testosterone work harder, more bang for your buck from the amount of test you're taking, and it'll help with estrogen conversion. So boom, it's a win-win. So I'm a big fan of Primo. You don't even need to like really take that much. I did do a little cycle of test and Primo. I ran 450 test and 300 Primo a week. I think I did that about 15, 16 weeks. And went great. I didn't notice any estrogenic side effects. I did notice I was looking bigger, fuller, more dry, lean, broader shoulders, tighter waist versus just testosterone itself. The Primobolin does kind of work very well with the testosterone. So you can also get away with, you know, say you want to bump up, you've done a couple cycles and you want to take a little bit more. Instead of upping your testosterone dose to 800, you might get a lot of bad side effects at 800 test. So you can keep your test at 400 or 500, add 300 milligrams of Primo on top of that. Your total gear usage is up there at 800, so you're going to get the same kind of muscle building capabilities that you would with 800 test, but you're going to get less side effects because, like I just mentioned, the test and Primo work very synergistically to keep the side effects to a minimum. So this video is getting a little bit long. I did want to kind of dive deep on it, but we'll cut it for now. Maybe we'll come back with some more Primobolin videos in the future. But if you guys have any questions about what we just discussed here, definitely let me know. Drop a comment below. And hey, anything you want to see in these upcoming videos, let me know. All right? Keep making gains. Stay big. Stay strong. Get lean. Get shredded. All that. Eat your shit. And out. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.